With the recent surge in popularity for MW 2019, it's a pretty good time to look at some of the older Call of Duty titles. I want to be honest, while I can't bring myself to play MW 2019 cause I think it's the worst COD ever, I did want to go back to play the best of the new Modern Warfare trilogy, MWIII. So that's what I did here in 2026, and you can probably tell by the title of the video, you should too. After playing a few games the other day, I just really wanted to take some time to sit down, chill, relax, and reminisce with you guys. Cause MW3 was such a good game, man, and we're talking multiplayer here. Let's just ignore the campaign, okay? Let's pretend that doesn't exist. Moving on, but MP is amazing. I think you could make a pretty solid argument for MW3's MP to be the best of the modern Call of Duty titles. I mean, while there's this whole nostalgia wave for MW 2019 and MW2 even, I'm also seeing a lot more of that for this game, and rightfully so. I'm gonna go into the things that made it so great a little later on, because I think the story behind MW3 and how it actually came to be might be even more interesting. It honestly seemed doomed to fail in the beginning. At one point, MW3 as a standalone game wasn't supposed to exist. MW2 that released in 2022 was supposed to get a second year of support with a premium expansion, kind of like a big paid DLC. But as we all know, in game development, things change. So what was once supposed to be MW2 Year 2 became MW3, and Sledgehammer Games was tasked with turning this expansion into a standalone, full-blown premium title. And originally, you could definitely tell. I mean, the entire pool of launch maps were all of the remastered original maps from the OG MW2. So at launch, there wasn't even a single new map. In that sense, you could definitely tell that it was just supposed to be an expansion at some point. You could also tell with the campaign, but again, we don't talk about that. Doomed to fail is the expression that I used before. That's because immediately MW3 just kind of had that stamp on it that said MW2 DLC, MW 2.5 or whatever you want to call it. And people kind of treated it as such even before launch, complaining about having to pay full price for a quote-unquote DLC. Friends of mine did the same, they hadn't even played or tried the game, but they called it DLC and they weren't gonna pay full price for that. Perception is reality, and perception can make or break a game. If the online sentiment going into the release of a game is bad, it can be very hard or even impossible to recover from that. So in that sense, I think it was a bit of a rough start. But in my eyes, that just makes the story behind it even better. That Sledgehammer was able to make an absolute gem of a game out of what was supposed to be an expansion. They took MW2 that many people considered to be the worst Call of Duty ever and tweaked and changed things all the way to the point where the worst turned into one of the best. It goes to show how much certain decisions can hurt a game, and in turn it shows how what would be small changes on paper can actually impact a game, going from MW2 to MW3. Changing the perk system back, adding dead silence as a perk, speeding up the game again, increasing health to 150. All of that on paper, like I said, doesn't seem like that big of a deal. It doesn't immediately seem like it would turn the game on its head, but it actually does in a way. Details matter in Call of Duty. Now add some solid, great maps, one of the best maps of all time with 6-star, along with great guns, and look at that. The formula almost seems too simple, but that's all it takes for a COD game to be good. I can't help but wonder how much better the game would feel if it had some kind of relaxed matchmaking like the open matchmaking in BO7. It's nothing new that strict SBMM kind of ruins every game it touches, and on the other hand, experiencing this slightly more relaxed system in Black Ops 7, while it's not perfect by any means, I do think about how much better all of these games since 2019 would have been with that. And it's almost sad and depressing how the strict SBMM is just this stain on Call of Duty. Reminiscing about the past from time to time can be nice, but it doesn't really get us anywhere now. So from an MW3 standpoint, we should honestly look towards the future. If we want to believe the rumors here at the beginning of April at the time of recording, we have Modern Warfare 4 coming up from Infinity Ward. And to be perfectly honest, after MW 2019 and MW2, I'm not expecting much. In fact, I'm absolutely preparing for the worst. But looking ahead a little further towards 2027, it's Sledgehammer's turn again, with a rumored new IP. And this one we can get excited about. After turning MW3 from doomed to freaking great, with amazing post-launch support and fantastic communication with the players, I can't wait to see what they're cooking up when they're given the time and resources to do their own proper thing. Again, like I said, I'm not trusting Infinity Ward in the slightest with MW4, so this year's COD release might just suck, but next year's release is what we're really looking forward to. And until then, we can all jump back on MW3 to have some fun. Seriously, do it right now. Well, after this video, but people really don't appreciate this game enough. But at the end of the day, it is just my very humble opinion. So leave your own thoughts down below in the comments and tell me how wrong I am. Or maybe not. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like if you did. Subscribe for more. Of course, you can find me on all the socials, Twitter/X, TikTok, and Instagram at LevelUpMario. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.